Welcome back to part 2 of our China City Deep Dive. In part 1, we talked about Beijing and Shanghai and how companies like AWS and Tesla made their strategic calls. But China isn't just a two-city game. Today, we'll take you beyond the first-tier headlines into cities that are cost-effective, innovation-friendly, and full of growth potential. Ready? Let's get going. So, we've seen how Shanghai worked out beautifully for Tesla. But let's see, if you are leaning toward Beijing for its policy access and strategic positioning, the good news is you are not limited to Beijing alone. There's an entire Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, we call it Jing-Jing-Ji, that opens up smart, affordable options, especially for companies that want to balance cost and proximity to power. Take Tianjin, for example. It's a heavyweight in manufacturing and the port economy. So if you are in smart manufacturing, logistics, or marine tech, this is a city worth watching. With places like TEDA and Binhai New Area, you will find tax breaks, funding support, and room to scale. Or Shijiazhuang, the economic and political hub of Hebei province. It's making serious moves in biopharma, equipment manufacturing, and new materials, all backed by parks like Shijiazhuang High Tech Zone. And here's a major upside. These cities are way cheaper than Beijing. Lower labor costs, more affordable offices, ideal for startups and production teams. But to be honest, let's be real, their innovation ecosystems are not yet on par with Beijing. So if you are building advanced R&D, they might not be your first pick. But you are looking to build a cost-effective production base while staying close to the capital, they can absolutely be part of a smart regional strategy.
Okay, now let's head south and talk about the cities surrounding Shanghai. If you like what Shanghai offers but your budget says otherwise, here is a smart alternative, Suzhou. Suzhou gives you the best of both worlds, significantly lower costs, while still being just 30 minutes away by train or 1 hour drive from downtown Shanghai. That means you can set up your production base in Suzhou, while still tapping into Shanghai's talent and market for branding, sales, or investor relations. And it's not just about location. Suzhou's manufacturing ecosystem is rock solid. It has a complete supply chain that makes it perfect for smart manufacturing. In fact, in this year, the city launched the Suzhou Smart Manufacturing 10 Major Actions, a bold plan to build a globally competitive industrial system. To support this, Suzhou has committed 110 billion yuan to drive new industrialization. And it doesn't stop there. Suzhou is also a biopharma hotspot, backed by advanced industrial parks that support both R&D and production. Let's take the Suzhou Industrial Park for example. It rolled out 12 pro-innovation measures, which offer R&D grants of up to 5 million yuan per year and up to 30 million for high-end projects. This isn't just a theory. Big players like AstraZeneca and Bosch are already there. AstraZeneca chose Suzhou as its China production base, leveraging the region's biopharma ecosystem and the cost efficiency. And Bosch did the same, setting up manufacturing operations to benefit from Suzhou's industrial strength and supply chain flexibility.
And another city just next to Shanghai that deserves serious attention is Hangzhou. And let me tell you, this place is all about digital innovation. If your business lives in the digital world, e-commerce, cloud computing, AI, blockchain, Hangzhou is your sweet spot. Let's take Binjiang District as an example. It's a national level development zone packed with tax incentives and policy support tailored made for high growth digital companies. And it's not just about policies. Hangzhou's entire ecosystem is built for internet companies. Just look at who's already there. Shopify established an R&D center there, plugging into Hangzhou's tech talent and speed. MicroStrategy, the world's largest public company focused on BI and analytics, runs both its Chinese headquarters and its largest overseas R&D center from Hangzhou. Why? Because Hangzhou is home to giants like Alibaba, ByteDance, and NetEase, and the network effect is massive. If you are offering digital tools or platform services, this is where your clients and your future partners already are. And for companies in new retail, it gets even better. Hangzhou's e-commerce ecosystem is fully matured, backed by world-class logistics, seamless payment systems, and a consumer base that's a digital native and trend-hungry. Put simply, it's a shopper's paradise and a retailer's dream.
Okay, let's move to another hotspot, Shenzhen. You've probably heard the phrase Shenzhen speed. Yeah, this city is all about moving fast and it's famous for it. But what makes Shenzhen so fast? First, let's talk location. Shenzhen sits right next to Hong Kong, acting as a natural gateway to Southeast Asia. It's a bridge between China's domestic economy and international markets. You need to ship something? Easy. With a mega airport, high-speed railway, and some of the world's busiest ports, logistics here isn't just smooth, it's world-class. Now let's look at the business environment. Shenzhen's government is like a startup streaming investor, fast, transparent, and supportive. The World Bank ranks it among the top 20 globally for ease of doing business. And here is a bonus. High-tech firms enjoy a 15% corporate tax rate, way below the national average. Adding zones like Nanshan Science Park and Shanghai, with tax breaks, subsidies, and pro-innovation policies. And you've got a city practically yelling, start your business here. Now, onto the tech. Shenzhen isn't just another city, it's a living, breathing innovation ecosystem. It has the highest 5G coverage in China, and is home to Huawei, Tencent, Dajiang, tech giants that didn't just grow here, they defined the industry here. Need a supplier? You can probably find one in the same building. And thanks to a hyper efficient supply chain, manufacturing costs are lower than you would think, and turnaround times lightning fast. Let's talk R&D. Shenzhen invests over 5% of its GDP in research, more than any other city in China. There are over 360,000 R&D engineers here. And it's also the first Chinese city to lift foreign ownership restrictions in strategic sectors like semiconductors and biotech. That's a big deal, especially if you are building something cutting edge. Of course, speed comes with a price. Shenzhen is dense, commercial line is limited, and office rents are very high. The rents in Shanghai area reached 380 yuan per square meters in Q1 this year. Even big names like Huawei have started outsourcing parts of their production to nearby cities like Dongguan. So if you want to scale in Shenzhen, you will need to be creative and strategic. So Who should choose Shenzhen? If you are an R&D driven tech company working on AI, IoT, or smart hardware, or you are a high tech manufacturer needing a fast integrated supply chain, or a digital economy player looking into plug into China's tech backbone, Shenzhen would be the perfect fit. And to land successfully, don't to forget to leverage the cluster effect. Partner with local universities, join innovation networks, or tap into government-backed funds. Okay, let's wrap this with a few real-world successful success stories. Dell chosen Shenzhen for its China headquarters, combining R&D, marketing, and supply chain management. The result? The cost of Dell cut by 20%. And Intel launched its China Innovation Center here, focused on AI, IoT, and 5G. Siemens opened a smart manufacturing R&D hub, and Google set up a hardware lab for smart devices and IoT here. Now let's jet south to Guangzhou, the commercial heartbeat of southern China. If your business touches cross-border trade like e-commerce, consumer goods, or logistics, Guangzhou is your gateway to Southeast Asia. What makes it even better? The city has rolled out supportive policies for new cross-border e-commerce firms, including cash rewards. And if you are promoting your brand overseas, you can get up to 50% of your marketing costs covered. Manufacturers also love Guangzhou for a reason. It sits in the Pearl River Delta, one of the most powerful manufacturing hubs in the world, with a solid industrial base and a large skilled labor force. Let's look at some real world choices. Shein, the fast fashion giant, built its cross border e commerce center here, tapping into Guangzhou's world class logistics and trade infrastructure. P&G set up its China headquarters in Guangzhou, a nod to the city's market reach and international business environment. Shopee, the e-commerce leader in Southeast Asia, chose Guangzhou for its South China center, using it as a springboard into regional markets. So if you're thinking cross-border, scale, and speed, Guangzhou should definitely be on your radar.
Let's switch gears and talk about a city that's often overlooked. But really shouldn't be. It's called Chengdu, the rising star of Western China. It's actually the first sub-provincial city to roll out dedicated policies for foreign R&D centers, which was recently released, offering up to 10 million RMB annually, plus support for equipment, data access, talent, and IP protection. Now, it's true that Beijing and Shenzhen offer bigger incentives on paper, sometimes 50 to 150 million. But Chengdu's advantage isn't in the size of its checks, it's in how easy it is to get things done. Here's why Chengdu works. First, incentives are more accessible, especially for mid-sized firms. Secondly, costs, both living and operational, are much lower. Third, government support is fast and collaborative. Last, it's ideal for ops centers, support teams, and regional hubs, not flashy headquarters. So for example, Microsoft runs a major tech support center here. ABB is building smart manufacturing ops. And Intel has one of its largest plants nearby. For growth stage companies, Chengdu offers what Tier 1 cities cannot: room to scale, affordable operations, and real traction without the noise. Now, before we ramp up, I want to share one final example, a cautionary tale actually. It's about two global travel giants, Booking and Airbnb, and how their China expansion strategies, especially city choices, led to very different outcomes. Let's start with Booking. So they picked Shanghai for their China headquarters. But more importantly, they didn't go it alone. They formed a strategic partnership with Trip, which is China's largest online travel agency. That gave them a direct line to millions of local users, market insights, and distribution channels they could never build overnight. And they didn't just stop at one office. Booking actually established the local operations in key tourist cities like Chengdu, Xi'an, and Guilin, tailoring services, running campaigns, and showing up where travelers actually go. So in short, they went wide and they went local. And now, compare that to Airbnb. They also entered China around 2016. And yes, they set up their main office in Shanghai as well, with a secondary presence in China, in Beijing for policy outreach. But here's the issue. Airbnb's approach stayed too centralized. They focused heavily on tier 1 cities like Beijing and Shanghai and didn't expand fast or deep enough into smaller but tourism heavy cities like Dali, Lijiang, or Sanya, where Chinese travelers or even foreign travelers, when they visit China, actually want to stay in short term rentals. Sure, Airbnb did try. They launched some pilot programs like cities like Chengdu and Guilin, but the rollout was slow and their market share was quickly eaten up by domestic players like Tujia and Xiaozhu, who already understood how to go hyper local. So what happened? Booking built partnerships, decentralized its decentralized its city strategy, and integrated with China's travel infrastructure. Airbnb kept things top down, moved too cautiously in second-tier markets, and couldn't compete with local platforms on the ground. And the result, Airbnb fully pulled out of the Chinese market in 2022, and Booking now is still going strong in China. So here's the final takeaway. Picking the right city isn't just about headquarters. It's more about where your teams operate, where your users are, and how you embed yourself in the ecosystem. Because in China, your expansion isn't just judged by where you land. It's defined by where you actually show up.
Okay, after exploring all the cities for overseas businesses to set up in China, I have to say my personal topic is Shanghai. And no, it's not just because I live here. Shanghai is where tradition meets ambition. It's got that old school Chinese charm and a modern global age. As a financial hub, it buzzes with energy. People and companies from all over the world all moving fast. And the infrastructure is top notch. The public transport is seamless. And the lifestyle, amazing. So, whether you're into the history, high tech culture, or just love a fast paced international city, Shanghai really has it all. So, if you want visibility, market access, and a city that makes things happen, I think Shanghai is, this place to be.
Well, great, but to be honest, for me, if I could only choose one city to start in China, I know it's not the obvious choice, but
Hmm.
I would go with Chengdu because
Oh,
let's
really?
be honest, not every company needs to lobby ministries in Beijing or set up shop in a Lujiazui skyscraper next to hedge funds. Most foreign companies in their year one in China need something simpler, a place to survive, learn fast, and grow without burning through their runway. And Chengdu gives you that. Plus, something most cities forget, alive. I just traveled back from there. It's an affordable city. The local talent is smart, loyal, and motivated. And the government there, surprisingly responsive and actually very helpful. And best of all, it doesn't feel like in a pressure cooker. Chengdu moves at a calmer rhythm. It's kind of like Spain with great food, real culture, and a more human pace of work and life. It may not get you all the headlines, but it gives you space to breathe, to build, and to belong. So if you are serious about growing in China and staying sane while doing it, I would say start with Chengdu.
Okay, so no matter where you land,
Just remember, in China, location isn't just a geography, it's strategy.
pick the city that fits your vision, your pace, and your growth plan.
Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful,
Don't forget to like, follow, and share. We've got more insights coming your way.
see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.